on this that I've done in the past, and you can go to my search bar on Tanny TV and you can type in staying warm on raw food or raw vegan in the winter. I just did one of those not too long ago. But first of all, here's a couple of tips you can do. Okay, let's talk about this. First of all, if you just saw my clip just a second ago on here that I said, hey, I'm fixing to come on, I showed a soup, and that soup, I had made up 2 bowls, so that was just the leftover there. But what that was is blended up. I put the recipe on Facebook. Look on my TannyRaw Facebook. I put also on Instagram. There's the exact ingredients of that. But it was basically like Roma tomatoes, a little bit of beets, red bell pepper, blended up. And then I had a little bit of the dressing that I made that I also showed that I had over like a huge veggie salad. I had about half of that dressing in that soup. Okay, I blended that up to warm to touch, which is pretty warm, y'all. Technically, if it's under 118 degrees, it's raw, but I usually like to keep mine about 112, you know, 115 max, because I'm just like that, you know. But here's what you do. Once you get the hang of it, you'll know how that feels, but you can use a little meat thermometer or a temp thermometer in there and check it in your high-speed blender. You can also take your raw food and put it in a pot on really low and stir it briskly until you get that same effect. You see what I'm saying? Though no nutrients were damaged in the heating of your food. So it's great. That's one thing you can do. But what I did then is I blended that up. I poured it in the bowl. I had a lot of little veggies. I had mushrooms, celery, onion, some sprouts, and I had a little bit of non-sulfurized sun-dried apricots too that I had little bitty. I blended one in there, and then I had some little bitty pieces. But anyway, and then I put in a little bit of cayenne pepper and a little bit of black pepper on top of that. But I stirred in those crunchy veggies, so therefore you've got a more hearty existence on your soup, you know. Another thing, you could have thrown some more greens in there. I was trying to make it look very appealing to people, so I didn't do that, so it wasn't a green soup. But also, so then the other half of the dressing I had over that giant veggie salad. So do you see what I did? That dressing, I could have bulked it up to more dressing by adding in a more voluminous experience of like celery or the middle of zucchinis, mushrooms. I have a really good mushroom sauce on my channel too that you might like. But the point is, that had 2 tablespoons of tahini in there. I think is what I put. I wrote it down for y'all. And so see, I've still stretched that out. I've had that in my soup, and I've had it over my salad for a satiating experience. Do you understand? They're still getting down on the low fat raw, you know. The low down on the low fat, right? So you can have a lot of food and you're not going to feel like you need anything else, and it's not like you're going to feel like, God, I wish I had a sauce or a dressing. Another thing you can do in the winter is if you have a dehydrator. Obviously I have on my new book, but the thing is, you can go to my channel and I have a dehydrated playlist is what it's called, and a lot of my recipes are on there, and you can choose some of the no-fat crackers. And when you choose the no-fat crackers, you're not having to really tally in the fat of that. Like some of those basically just have maybe red bell pepper or orange bell pepper and onion. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're just having those veggies, though you've had them in a crispy experience. So you've got this decadent salad with your fat split in a dressing, and then you've got some of that decadence experience over in the soup, and you got some crackers for dipping. Come on, y'all. I used to have this preacher at this church I went to, and he'd say, come on. I'm gonna start saying that. One day. Anyway, so that's something you can do. Another thing you can do is, like you saw me yesterday, I think I showed y'all, I did. It was that green bean casserole, and y'all, that was very warm, and it was still raw, and it was very wilted down and had a much more, you know, when you dehydrate a little bit of your food like that, or warm it down some, it creates more of a punch in the flavors, you know. That's why you can do like some tomatoes in your dehydrator, or any kind of veggies or different things, and you can put some seasoning on there, and it gives a flavor punch because it's really like it's densed down the flavors. Does that make sense to y'all? So people are not wanting to go on, and I'm in a hurry. I am late. My friend's gonna think I'm always late. So hey Jerry Lee, how are you, girl? Jerry Lee was on it today on her video. One day a cop's gonna pull up behind me while I'm doing this, and it looks suspicious, like I don't know, there might be a law against that, I'm not sure. But anyway, what else was I gonna tell you? Oh yes, so using the warming spices too, like ginger, cayenne, lots of hot peppers and things, even black pepper. What I'm saying though is really kicking up the heat in things so that you can warm up. Also, if you're cold on raw, there's a wreck up here, maybe don't drink your smoothies cold. Have room temperature water, have room temperature smoothies. And if you're thinking, well, I have my fruits frozen, okay, so let that thaw out on the counter, but you have to make accommodations, you know what I mean? Another thing is, I don't eat banana ice cream in the wintertime, because once I eat that, even in the summer, I cannot get warm. It's really hard, you know? So, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. You can type in on my search bar, stretching the fat. There is a way to do this, y'all, so you feel like you can take a half of an avocado that's roughly on a medium one, about 200 calories, and you can make that enough fat for your whole dinner and not feel like, oh, I want 5 avocados. You know, I don't eat that much avocados. That I cannot digest that. That would make me lethargic. And like I say, if I was going to do, I want to see what's going on. Are y'all rubbernecking? Did you see what you did to look? Anyway, somebody ran off the road, it looks like. But what else did y'all want to talk about? I just want to tell you that. And oh yes, here's another thing you can do. You can have hot water, like let's just say you had some kettle going and you had some hot water in there, and you poured that into your bowl, okay, and you let it cool down just a little bit, but in the meantime you put some savory seasonings in there, or some herbs and spices or whatever, and then you take all of your veggies or different things and you put them in there, and it kind of wilts them down, especially greens and things. You can also, if you still have a microwave in your house, which I would suggest, if you don't know anything about this, and I know this is something that people are in resistance against, because it's just, sometimes people just like that quick fix of that, but microwaves are a problem. I have a video on that where I give some lowdown stats on that, and I got rid of that thing out of my house. I didn't even want it in there. But if you have a microwave, you can heat up the plate. Okay, you can put like a ceramic plate in there and heat it up, and then you've got this hot plate, and you put on your greens, and it's wilted warm greens. Do you see what I'm saying? Another thing is, if you're not all raw, or that's not your destination in life, rock on, you know, you what else you could do is, let's just say you have your dinner, okay, you've kept it raw all day, and you're wanting to have cooked food at night, but you're trying to get off the, I don't know, 4 pots of corn pasta. You're trying to get off thinking, okay, it's past X time of day, I can eat all these donuts. You can eat whatever you want to, but you know, if you've got some goals in mind, that's probably not going to get you there. But it might, who knows? I don't know, that never worked for me, but let's just say you're trying to do that. So let's say in a wok, in a shallow rolling boil water in the wok, I'm talking about a big one, okay, because you want to get your flip on. So you've got a little bit of shallow water. You've got some lemon or lime, some apple cider vinegar, you've got some herbs or spices in there, so it smells like cooked food. Over on your cutting board, you've spiralized, or you've julienne cut, or you've used my favorite tool, which are the Titan peelers, because those suckers are fast, okay? That's not your mama's peelers, and if you think it is, you're wrong on that, sister. Anyway, so you're going to take all your veggies. You can even just dice chop, whatever. You're going to take all those veggies. You've got a big, okay, you got your plate of raw greens there, okay, because you want to get those raw greens in. Then you take all of those veggies you've just, say, spiralized, and you throw those into your wok. You flip them fast. al dente. What I'm talking about is just warming the outside. Even if you slightly cook them al dente, don't cook them to smithereens, okay? Let them have a crunch, okay? You're just one step away from raw. You bring that over, you drain it, you've got your lemon, your lime, you've got your spices. You put that on top of your greens. You pour on your decadent TannyRaw dressing or whatever it is you're making, or frankly you didn't feel like doing it, so you've got your half of an avo and you mash that on top of there. You sprinkle on some spices, you put on some wakame seaweed or some dulse flakes, you got your salty, bam. How does that sound? Here's one step away from that, okay? Let's say you're really just like wanting to even, you're like, you know what? My life sucks and I am either gonna have some cooked food or I'm having this, I don't know, half a bottle of vodka, okay? So you're gonna do something to dope yourself down, okay? And your husband told you to quit watching the porn to get your mind off of it. I don't know what you're doing, but let's just say you're trying to take your mind off of it. Anyway, can you imagine a husband saying that? I really can't. I feel like, turn that up. Anyway, so let's say you're trying to just calm yourself down, okay? You've had a stressful day and you just don't think you can go on. So anyway, instead of having the 3 vegan pizzas, what you could do is, let's just say we're going over this scenario again and you've got your bed of greens, okay? Because we just talked about how that would be great for you to have a bed of greens. And then you've got all of your raw veggies, okay? You've got your diced and sliced peppers, onions, all of these savory things, okay? You can even make noodles out of squash, pumpkin, zucchini, yellow squash. You can make it out of cucumbers. You can make noodles out. You can take that julienne spiralizer from Titan brand peeler and you can slice down the side of onions to make little slivers. You can slice down the side of peppers, all kinds of things. You could use green mango is a good noodle. You can get those already pre-done up at your Asian grocery usually, and it's real cheap around here. Anyway, so yes, that's what you could do. Okay, so you got all those. We're still on the raw, okay? You got your bed of greens, you got all your raw veggies, and then what you've done is you have cooked up in the oven over a pan of, because we don't want to dry it out, over a pan of water, 1 large sweet potato. And I'm saying sweet potato because those things have a fibrous and satiating experience that will quench your desire for something dense, I think, quicker than a white potato, okay? So anyway, you're gonna take that thing out of the oven. It's hot, it's smoking, okay? You slice it open, it's piping out, you know, you smell it, you squeeze that thing out of its skin over all this raw existence. You mash it on, you drizzle on your dressing. Furthermore, you just wanted to have 1 tablespoon of almond butter, for example, and like some date syrup. You can take that in a little bowl with a little bit of apple cider vinegar and whisk it together, also known as whisk, and you can make a quick dressing. So then you've got your greens, you got your veggies, you got your 1 sweet potato, you've got your decadent like almond sweet dressing, okay? You could even have a little ginger in there. You could have made a little Asian almond ginger spicy kind of flavor, and then you put that on there. Do you understand? That's a big difference than you thinking, screw it, I'm gonna have 3 vegan pizzas. The thing is about that it's great, okay? Nobody had to die, and I'm on board with that. But the thing is, when people do not get the results they want from a vegan lifestyle, they don't get the weight loss that they want. They don't get the disease healing that they want. They don't get the vibrancy. They don't get the clear eyes. They don't get the regenerated skin or hair. They don't get these things. And guess what? They're going to fall away from vegan. And it's not going to be, you know, they're going to say it's vegan's fault. Well, that vegan diet didn't work for me. You know, that plant-based diet didn't work for me. Well, did your plants turn into a bunch of oatmeal and, I don't know, white pasta? Were you living off bread and, were you living off white bread? I don't know what you're eating. Are you living off like earth balanced butter and white bread? That's a big difference than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how many nutrients can you get per calorie on every forkful of food. Bam! Anyway, so that's the problem with that, is that that's not going to get you the result you want. You're going to wake up still like you went out to the pizza buffet at Pizza Inn, and you are going to be saltified. You're going to be lethargic. Your guts are going to be clogged up. When you go to the bathroom, everybody in the house is going to know it. It's not the same thing as eating fresh, whole, ripe, raw fruits and vegetables